Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Danielle Dorch and I love to talk about affordable living and intentional homemaking. And I am super excited because today we are going to start our very first series on the channel. I mean, I know we had Christmas and that was like kind of a series because it was like a whole bunch of Christmas videos all together. But this is like my first just full-on series where we're going to be going over one particular room for a few weeks. So for the next 6 weeks, 6 Thursdays, I have content coming out all about the remodel of our master bedroom. I'm so excited to get this together. We have been working on this room for a couple of months now in preparation for our second son to be born. And I love how it is coming out. It's coming out so beautiful. We are kind of at the very end of getting it all together. I've been collecting footage for literally months now to put this series together. And I'm excited to bring it to you guys because we are putting together an entire room that has never been touched in our house since we've moved in. I know that they've done work on it like prior to us living here, but we've been here, it'll be 10 years this summer, and we've never actually done anything to this space at all. We've never painted, we've never changed the flooring, nothing. So we are doing all of that this time around so that we can move up. So let me give you a little backstory before we get into the actual first video of the series. And that is that our house was built in 1913. I've mentioned this a couple of times. I've mentioned it through our home decorating videos and other renovation videos that we've had. But our house was built in 1913, so it is over 100 years old. And it is beautiful, it is historic, it has charm all over it. I love it so very much. But it is actually built into 4 different living floors. So we have our downstairs basement, which is a full-on family room, and we did a renovation of that a couple of years ago. And if you've not seen that video, I will link it below for you or put it up in a card so that you can watch that as well. But we have that entire floor. It also has our laundry room, which I'm going to be having a laundry room renovation video coming up soon. But we then have our main living level, which is just the living room, which I'm in right now, our dining room over here, and then our kitchen behind me. And then when you go upstairs, there are 3 bedrooms and a bathroom. And then you go to the 3rd floor above ground, and it is an entire massive room. And when it was just my husband and I, we never really used the room, to be totally honest. It became a little bit of a catch-all room. Well, okay, that's not totally true. We did actually have an exchange student the 2nd year of our marriage for the entire year, and that was her room when she lived with us. We had a 17-year-old young girl from China come live with us, and that was such an amazing experience. We loved it a lot. But ever since she has moved out, we really haven't used the room at all with just the 2 of us. There really wasn't a need for a 4th bedroom that we had at the time. So we are very excited to, now that we are expanding our family, move into that room. We've been using one of the smaller rooms on the 2nd floor for the past basically decade, and it has served us well. We loved using that room because it was right next to the bathroom and it wasn't like a huge hall up and down all of the steps and whatnot. But we are just super ready for our own kind of sanctuary space that is on its own level, that is kind of huge. We're going to have a whole bunch of different nooks in this room. So we're going to have a place to relax. We'll have a little couch up there. We will have we're going to get a nice king size bed. I'm so excited for that, because if you have young kids and animals, you know that your bed starts to get a little crowded as more people enter your home. And for the first, I don't want to put an exact time limit on it, but maybe 5 or 6 months of our second son being with us, he will also live on the 3rd floor with us, as well as we are getting his nursery together. And that way we're not like running up and down the stairs a gazillion times throughout the night, or he's not waking up his brother if he's like crying in the middle of the night. So we're banking on 5 or 6 months. I don't know, maybe he'll be up there for a year with us. We really don't know yet. But anyway, with all of that being said, I know this is like probably the longest intro I've ever done. I'm really excited to bring you this very first video, which is going to be a declutter with me. And we had to start here because, like I said, this kind of became a catch-all room for the past decade, okay? So it has caught a lot of junk, a lot of stuff we don't need anymore, a lot of stuff, like I have clothes that like I hadn't even realized were up there that have been sitting up there for 10 years. And yeah, we're just going through all of it. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I think we've given away about 85 to 90% of everything on that floor, including furniture. It was just not serving us well. It didn't have any room moving into our new space. We have new furniture coming in because, like I said, the crib is going to be going up there, and we have some more baby stuff going up there. A king size bed's going to be going up there. So there was just a lot that we kind of needed to get rid of, declutter, get away, and there's so much of it that I'm actually turning this into 2 different videos. So this is going to be my declutter part 1, and declutter part 2 will be the following Thursday. And like I said, for the next 6 Thursdays, I will be bringing you a full transformation of the space, all of the different things that we've done to upgrade it and give it some character and some life. So with the longest intro in the world being done, and without further ado, let's get into this video. So I wanted to start off kind of just showing you what this space sort of started out with. At this point, we had already kind of started working here and there. So you can see everything sort of pushed to the one side of the room because that is how I started filming this whole process. But you can see all of the stuff that we had just been collecting. There's so many pillows and blankets and just stuff. There's a whole corner of items that are brand new items that I had from when I had my candle shop, and they needed to be packed up and put into storage for another time when I could start selling again. But we had this as, like I said, a catch-all space for so long. And when it wasn't a complete crazy mess, we would have guests stay up here, but we honestly hadn't had people up here in quite a while. So starting off with the closet. The closet was crazy. If you thought we were keeping a lot of stuff on the main floor, we kept even more stuff in storage in the closet, and a lot of the stuff in this closet we hadn't touched for basically a decade. Okay, so my husband pulled out all of this stuff from the closet storage space up here. This is the first thing I'm going to be going through. There's, oh my gosh, there's like a gazillion purses back there. It's just insane. We have this like ginormous piece of furniture that we're trying to sell on Facebook Marketplace at the moment. So we're working on that. I've got clothes that I haven't fit into in probably close to a decade. Yeah. And then a whole bunch of just bags and old notebooks and just crazy stuff. So we're gonna be going through all of this and downsizing a ton. It is seriously crazy how much I held on to for years. Like, oh, one day I'll fit back into things. No, just get rid of it. Oh, I loved these jeans. Yeah, I will never fit into these ever again. Who knows? Maybe not never, but yeah. No idea what that is. I squeezed myself into this tiny little space here, and I went through every single one of these bags. And guys, I had so much stuff in these bags. It was absolutely insane. I could not believe how much I never went through them. So I have things like this in here. They're super cute, super nostalgic. It says bride, it's from my wedding. I will be married 9 years this winter, and I have never worn this since then. So I'm going to just pass it on to Goodwill, and hopefully some beautiful young girl who's about to get married can get some good use out of this.
So I really just went through all of the things that I hadn't used, hadn't even looked at, thought about for basically a decade, and I packed all of them up so that I could give them a new life, a better place in the Goodwill hemisphere. I actually love to thrift, so I enjoy when people drop off nice items that they're just no longer using anymore and they give them to Goodwill, and then I can give them a new life in my home. It almost feels like a trading program, right? Like I give Goodwill all of the things that were a previous life for me, and then I can actually start to acquire things that have a history, a story, have a previous life as well, and I can use those items for decor. It'd be really nice if they had like a buying program, which I know that's not the point of Goodwill, is to actually donate so that they can make some money for charity and all that kind of stuff. But it'd be really nice if I could actually like flip some of these items within Goodwill. But we were on such a big time crunch that I just did not have the time or mental capacity to try to take pictures of all of these items, sell all of these items. My husband's really good at that, and he can be really patient with an item. He had our one dresser that's actually in this clip, it's sitting to the side of me, on Facebook Marketplace for about 3 or 4 months before he actually had somebody decide to buy it. We literally just sold it last week, and I'm so happy to have it out of the space. It was a helpful piece when we needed it, but it was not something that I wanted to keep in our bedroom going into the future, so we were able to sell that. And it just feels so nice when you start throwing all of this clutter out, things that I had been holding on to. Like I'm going through some coaching papers from when I used to coach like 7 or 8 years ago, and there's just no reason for me to continue to hold on to it. So I just really chucked everything and gave to Goodwill the stuff that was in really nice condition still. I don't want to say really nice condition, but in working condition, in something that they would want to purchase.
Okay, so this is a bin of clothes that came with me. Oh, and so is this little basket over here, is a basket of clothes that came with me when I moved in. I moved in 9 years ago, like literally exactly to the week 9 years ago, and I have never gone through either of these bins of clothes. So probably everything is gonna go to Goodwill, but we're just gonna double check just in case, but it's probably all gonna go to Goodwill. And after 2 full days of going through the closet, really just the closet, I have, I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 containers, bags, whatever you want to call it, of items that are all going to go to Goodwill because I don't need any of this stuff anymore. Actually, a lot of these are all clothes that I have not worn in a decade because I didn't even know they were up here. And not the majority. All of them do not fit me any longer. I have a totally different body 10 years later. So that is all going to Goodwill. No biggie. I still need to go through this box of purses, this box of purses, and all of the purses back there. It's a little scary how much I've spent on bags over the years. But other than that, everything's coming along good.
It was definitely super refreshing to see the piles of stuff get smaller and smaller as I was continuing. And I think that is probably the happy place when it comes to decluttering, is being able to look through items that you previously loved, previously owned, and just making the tough choice to let them have a new life with somebody else. It, for me personally, takes so much weight off of my shoulders. It takes so much pressure off of my shoulders, feeling like all these items had been holding me down. And I just love to kind of go through and declutter now. It's my thing. There are so many gum wrappers in these bags. It's kind of insane. Oh my goodness. Ooh, stamps. Always like to find some stamps. Another thing that took me a long time to kind of move forward with was actually making the decision to give away items that I know had cost me a nice chunk of money at one point in time, but are no longer serving me purpose. I feel like that's why I held on to a lot of these bags, a lot of these purses for so long, is because I just was so connected to how much I had spent on them, but honestly I hadn't used the majority of them in so long, so it was really hard for me to let go of them, but I needed to. And if you are holding on to things because you feel like you just financially put too much of an investment into them, this is your sign or encouragement to just let it go. You will feel so much better once you have decluttered your space of those items that are no longer serving you a purpose any longer, and you are happy to kind of just move on from them. Gosh, do I never clean out of bag? I think I just put it in storage. So I'm really interested to know, friends, if I am the only pack rat person who feels the necessity to hold on to all sorts of things, or if you are the same, if you kind of just get attached to an item and hold on to it for nostalgic purposes, but honestly don't actually need it or don't ever use it again and have a hard time parting with it. I would love to know in the comments below if that is something that you also struggle with, so that we can get through this together for sure. I was a tape mushy, a mixtape mushy. So this box here, I held on to for so long. It was actually, I think, my dresser drawer from my parents' house that I had been carrying around for like 18 years. Not dresser drawer, my nightstand drawer. I literally had been moving from my parents' house to, I don't know if it was this home or what, but I took everything that was in my nightstand and I stuck it in this box and I never touched it again. And I think it might have been like 15 plus years that I never even looked at these items at all, like never even paid attention to them. And so I'm opening this box and I'm finding like whole cassette tapes, people. This is how much of a pack rat I was. I was holding on to like just blank cassette tapes forever. And there was honestly no reason for me to keep holding on to this junk. So this box, spoiler alert, I actually go through the entire box and I don't think I kept anything in this box, except for, I actually do think my very first passport from when I was like 10 years old and I like traveled out of the US for the first time was in there. I did keep that. That's like a cute little nostalgic thing that you know, nobody needs my passport but me, and I didn't want to get rid of it. But out of that entire box, I think that's the only thing that I kept, aside for a handful of pictures. Everything else I either threw out or donated to Goodwill, and I'm so happy to just have another box of items gone from my life that I no longer needed. To say that I was ruthless or brutal during this process is an understatement. I really looked at everything and was like, hey, I didn't even know you were up here. You're going to Goodwill. And that is exactly what I did to move myself along. I got rid of, like I said in the beginning of this video, between 85 and 90% of all of the stuff that was just sitting up here. So we are headed to Goodwill to drop off all of the bags that I have not used in over a decade. So we have about half of the space decluttered. There's just a handful of baby items that we're gonna keep up here for when baby gets here. A dresser that we're gonna be moving. It's not gonna stay in that location, but it's staying here. Our tools that we're still using to work on the space. And then this is actually the sofa that's gonna be staying up here as well. So we have basically one whole half of the room decluttered. We got rid of the massive pieces of furniture that were up here as well. We just have a couple items over here that need to go into storage, and we are basically all cleared up. I'm so sorry if it's super loud here, but there are things happening outside that have nothing to do with my house. And then over here, we have our baby nook. You can see my little tripod is in the way because my husband isn't filming himself getting so much work done. All of that is just shreddable stuff that is gonna be going to the shredder really soon. And then that is just gonna go out into our sheds in the back. But the entire baby nook is looking good, all cleared out. And then we just have a little bit more left to do on this parquet wood section. We have some more clutter over here that we need to finish going through, but for the most part, this is almost done as well. So I'm super excited. You're gonna see more of this section next week. So we're seriously getting there, guys. And I'm trying not to show you all of the paint situation because I'm really excited for how that's coming out as well. Alrighty, friends. This is our beautiful, mostly decluttered space. I'm excited about it. So thank you guys so much for watching the first video in this series, watching me declutter the first half of the room. Come back next Thursday to watch me declutter the second half of the room and continue to follow along with us as we transform this space. I will see you guys in another video really soon. Have a great day. Bye.